Hey guys, welcome back to the Friend Zone podcast. We've been gone for a bit, but we're back and we are delighted as ever. We have got Miltos Yerolemou on for this week. So round of applause, everybody, round of applause.
Woo! Woo!
It's a pleasure to be here.
So Miltos, how are you? How have you been?
I've been okay. Me and my partner and my little sausage dog have been in London lockdown, and we have kind of been okay, really. It's kind of strange how you grow accustomed to a different way of life. And to be honest, my partner is a teacher, so she works really hard, and she's been working hard even from home teaching. But it's quite amazing to have time to do things that we wouldn't normally do together, like just day-to-day stuff. So it's been really nice, and it's been a despite the fact that living under a pandemic is horrible, obviously, for a million different reasons. It kind of makes you appreciate the simple things in life, and for that I'm kind of grateful too.
Yeah, there's a lot of projects that, well, I started doing loads of projects, too many to even keep up with.
Like this?
Yeah, this we've managed to keep up for a bit. We had to take a couple of weeks off because that was when everyone started going back to work. Everything started up again. And everything's pretty much closing back down again, but whatever.
Exactly.
That's we're back.
But yeah, how has this quarantine affected your career? Like, what were you getting up to?
So I just started the first week of rehearsals for a play at the Royal Court. A really fantastic play called Two Palestinians Go Dogging, which is a kind of...
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was, and we just literally started rehearsals when we shut down. And so, obviously that got postponed, and everything got shut down. And the weird thing about theatre is that it's with a lot of hospitality, you just can't do it. If you want to be safe, you can't really go to the theatre, especially indoors. Outdoors maybe, but not indoors. And filming is obviously a huge problem. Because it's not just about shooting stuff with actors, it's the crew. You've got social distancing is tough, but I do know that certain things, like for example Jurassic World has started, is going back into production again.
Is that a hint? Are you in Jurassic World?
Oh,
Imagine it.
No,
It would be so cool.
Running away from dinosaurs.
Silent.
No, but that's filming in Pinewood.
Yeah.
It's a crazy situation because you've got actors being tested twice a day.
Yeah.
And it's different because I think with film sets you can, especially if you're not traveling a lot, you can stay contained. You're not going to you're going to go to your hotel room and you're going to go onto set. And if everyone is kind of being careful, then I imagine there is a way of that working. But like you see in America, football teams and baseball team, the season that is trying to carry on, they're doing all the tests and they're finding that people are testing positive. So they're about to have a game and then they cancel it because they suddenly realize that half the team have tested positive. That's the trouble with doing such extensive testing, is that you will find people who are positive, and it's then what do you do when that
When
happens?
that happens,
So
everything just everything will have to shut down, won't it?
it's really tough with our profession. And as far as I've done some screen tests for some projects that are kind of happening in October, but they're all very tentative because we still don't even know really how we're going to make those work at all.
Yeah.
So everything's still up in the air. Everything's still up, and it's like we're not going to go with especially my profession, not going to go really with what the government guidelines are, because the government guidelines are just like they're making it up as they go along anyway. It's really just about not tanking the economy. That's the reason that's how they're making up their policies. So the reality is that we will do things according to whether it's safe or not for both the audiences. And I mean, it's one thing wanting to open up cinemas, but there's nothing to put in them unless you want to go and see Rise of Skywalker again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I might have probably. Why not? Something to do. Something to do.
No. What is your opinion on Rise of Skywalker then? Just while we're at it.
Yeah.
Oh man! Wow. Okay. So, wow. Now you're really opening up a can of worms. As someone who is a big Star Wars fan,
yes,
and so there's that thing that happens. You go and see Rise of Skywalker. It's made by a very, very excellent director, someone very competent, knows exactly what he's doing, J.J. Abrams, and he obviously made a film that when you sit down and you watch it, it's like a roller coaster, right? It's like that's what it felt like watching it. It was like things happening all the time.
Yeah.
Good film to watch.
And kind of, it takes you with it, and it's spectacular, and it finishes, and you go home, and then you like start to go, hang on a minute. so for me, it's a very competently made film, and it kind of presses all the right buttons, but it just feels like it was made by a studio with too many people sticking their oar in, and wasn't really made by someone who had a clear idea of what the story was going to be from the beginning. And we know the stories about Matt Smith being in it. And it was going to be one way.
It sounded so good, that.
So we know all that, and the trouble is that I think what I can't really get my head around is why they didn't plan the stories out before they started shooting the very first one. I don't understand it. It's like they made one movie, and then someone else made another movie, and for the record, I actually really liked Ryan Johnson's movie, because it was it was surprising, and he'd thought it through, and he had a kind of idea about it, and so I was very, very excited about the kind of choices he made in that movie. But they all suffered because they didn't kind of make the story from the beginning, and they went, we're going to make it. It doesn't matter who's going to direct it. So that was a bit weird. And a bit disappointing.
It did start strong.
That was we said.
If it's Star Wars, then they'll love it, and just whatever they do is people gonna love.
Right. Well, I got a question for you about Star Wars now. Right. Right. What's your opinion on Revenge of the Sith?
Oh man. Okay. So the prequels. I've watched them quite a few times, amazingly, considering I don't really like them. I've watched them quite a few times.
I don't mind. Don't tell us.
Because I'm a completist, and you've got by it. And so I have I think I have the same feeling that I have about Rise of Skywalker. It's kind of, you watch them, and I will watch them from time to time. I'm not one of those people like my partner who will just say you cannot watch them. They're absolutely terrible. How dare you? It's heresy, right? I can enjoy them. I'm a bit more of a simpleton in that respect. But what I just don't understand about the prequels is that as much as we really wanted to see more Star Wars, because we hadn't had, they made that trilogy, and for ages people were talking about, I was going to make it, maybe we're not going to make it. That we got so excited about any Star Wars being made that we got it, that it was a kind of a good thing. But really, the bottom line is, the reason why that trilogy works so well is because the mythology doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't need, you don't need to see what happened to Anakin, because the power of those original stories, which George Lucas completely didn't understand. I mean, he did understand it. He just wanted to make a hell of a lot of money.
And he did.
It was all about the mythology, the kind of the world building, the universe that was created, that everyone just filled in the blanks. It's like anything, like a good movie, a good novel. It doesn't tell you everything. It doesn't need to tell you everything, because the joy of it is in knowing a story and understanding it because of the way it's told, not because you need to know all the details. You don't need to, and especially you don't need to see poor old Anakin Skywalker as a child growing up to be a fucking robot.
Hard what you think.
What about
killing the younglings?
We interviewed one of those. We interviewed the youngling that said, Master Skywalker, look.
I mean, that guy, I mean, there's some places you do not want to go to in Star Wars, and you don't want to go and see Anakin killing the little babies. It's just not right.
So now that you're saying that, I wanted to ask, how do you feel about, now obviously Star Wars becoming separate to the Skywalkers? That's what they're moving towards now, with things like the Mandalorian and
I don't know about that, and to be honest, I thought I was completely over. Look who's come to say hello.
Oh,
yes.
This is Louis.
Oh,
This is Louis. He's 5 years old, and he's a very sweet sausage dog. He misses me because I'm sitting at the other end of the room. So I thought I got a bit bored of any Star Wars. I thought, we'd been waiting so long for some, and now they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But The Mandalorian, I thought, was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Louis, not so much. Everyone's a critic. But The Mandalorian was fantastic, and just goes to show you that with the right idea and the right approach, you can make a Star Wars TV show. I mean, I was really skeptical, but it's good. It's really good. And I think it's not just good, it's really exciting. I'm so looking forward to the
season 2. End of this year.
And simple. No, not complicated. Doesn't get into like any complicated, Star Wars history. It's just like, it's really clever.
I think second season, I think they're going to start dabbling in a bit more of the complicated stuff because of what we've seen at the end of season 1.
I trust them.
Hopefully,
I trust them to do it, because they've done the setup. So
they've got an amazing team behind it.
And also, didn't you be in Force Awakens?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
What scene? What scene was this? What scene was this?
I was in Maz Kanata's castle. I was one of the smugglers.
Nice. That's nice.
Just wait there. While we're doing it,
I'll put the
Not
picture up
just
over
that.
the top of us when I'm editing it. There you go, buddy. Look at him.
I'm gonna find it for you.
John Boyega and Daisy Ridley and all that.
So it was really exciting, because no one had made Star Wars for a long time, and because the casting directors were the same casting directors for Game of Thrones, we weren't auditioned or anything. It was JJ was just looking for cast members, and he saw our tapes and went, "Let's get some of these people from Game of Thrones to be in it."
Wait, who else was
it? Well, obviously, oh my God, I'm distracted. But the Gwendolyn.
Oh yeah,
who
yeah.
played
Oh
Brienne
yeah.
of Tarth.
Phasma. Oh.
She played obviously.
Yeah.
What character did she play again?
Captain
Phasma.
There you go. Very underused character.
Yeah.
Very
I've got
disappointing.
I've got one of her.
Such an amazing actress.
I've got one of her
Actor.
comics. It's just a one-off comic of a story of her. And I was reading it. I was like, all right. So who is this? Who's this? This is not Phasma. Someone complete. It's like this is. She was like Boba Fett in that comic. Like what you think Boba Fett would be like. It was that in a comic, but Phasma.
Okay.
And she lost to a boy who would fail to being a stormtrooper.
He's a cleaner.
Can you see it?
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
But on the right, yeah.
That's me.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Oh,
you got
yeah.
proper in front.
You got proper.
Right in the front. Nice. That's so cool.
Oh.
That's the scene where you've just seen the planets blow up, haven't you? Nice.
How long do you
They're
have to keep it
coming
under
for
wraps? Like that you were in Star Wars?
Yeah, I told my mum, but my mum lives in Cyprus and doesn't know anything about anything that I do.
What's Star Wars?
No, honestly, it was like that.
Wars
So
in
I could tell
Star?
her she didn't have a clue.
The sun's exploding, you said.
Huh?
It was a long time ago.
Galaxy,
You
how
got to
far?
speak, did you get to speak to Harrison Ford then? Or was he a bit more?
I didn't get to hang out with him. He was very busy, and also he'd got injured, so we'd got booked to do
Of
the
course.
scene, and then he broke his foot. Obviously, nearly killed himself. With that door. So
With
we
the
all
Falcon
got
door.
reshifted. So, but he was very, very cool, and I mean, it's one of those weird things because you work with a lot of people in the business who you admire.
Yeah.
Recently worked with Samuel L. Jackson, and
Oh,
that was
wow.
like really exciting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really exciting.
cool.
He even called me a motherfucker. So
Yeah.
I kind
The
of
ultimate
ticked-
privilege.
Completed.
That's boom.
That's what I want to get out of my
Peak.
acting
You've peaked
career.
there.
Yeah, but the thing with meeting someone like Harrison Ford is that when he turned up to shoot that scene, you didn't go, "Oh, that's Harrison Ford." You were like, "That's Han Solo." That's
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Mm.
And that was like, that's the first time I've ever kind of had that kind of feeling about being on set with another actor, because he was, such an icon, and because he was kind of dressed almost in the same way that you remember him. So
With his blaster.
yeah,
and
it was a really nice experience.
That would have been cool to see. We're gonna move away from Star Wars now. For once, our viewers will be
First time.
grateful.
Human.
I mean, actually, well, before we move on, I mean, we've checked everyone. If you haven't seen, we interviewed Naya Num, Admiral Akbar, loads of other Star Wars people. Go check it out. And now we're gonna
kid.
move on. All right, we're moving on. So,
I watched him.
so your role in Game of Thrones. We'll speak more about it later, but he's obviously like a sword master trainer. Is that? I don't know. Were you trained as that? I was going to say, like, what would you describe your job as? Are you an actor? Were you acting in that role? Or are you like a stunty or swordy kind of person? I don't really know.
I mean, so it's kind of strange, the whole thing with the sword fighting, because I started off as a dancer, believe it or not, and I even did like circus performing. I was a really physical performer when I first started. I'd throw myself around and fly from, swing from things. That was kind of my thing. But when they were casting for Sirio Pharrell, they asked for someone who had experience as a sword fighter. And I did have it on my CV because I'd worked at the Royal Shakespeare Company and worked with a lot of choreographers, fight choreographers. And it was a thing that I knew I could do quite well because of my dance background, because learning fight choreography and learning dance choreography is pretty much, you know, it's the same process in the brain.
Beats. Yeah.
Exactly.
Me and
It's
Joe
counting.
part of that.
Basically, it's like counting, you know. But so when they asked me at the audition, at the casting, did I have experience? I could say yes, that I did without lying, because most actors have on their CV that they can tap dance, horse ride, and sword fight.
Yeah.
But in fact, if you don't have it on your CV, then you've got something. It's not right, because even though you can't do them, but I actually did. I did have that experience, so I knew that I could do it. I think what they needed. I think the trouble is with the first season is that even though we spent a lot of time on the first lesson, you don't have the time, you know, like most of the people in Game of Thrones, their stunt doubles will do their fights for them, because they just don't have that, especially the you know, like Kit will do it because, you know, he has the aptitude. Maisie will do it because she is a dancer as well. So there are certain performers who can do it because they can pick it up quickly, but the majority of people just won't be able to. So they won't have the time to spend to learn it because they've got other things to do, like doing the scenes. So that's why we all have stunt doubles. But we made a pact, me and Maisie, when we did our the first season. We said that we're not going to get our stunt doubles to do it. First of all, because they look rubbish.
Yeah.
there was a guy who actually knew, who is kind of my build, but he was ginger with short hair, and they put a kind of curly wig on him and a false beard. And I was like, nah. But anyway, we did it. We did all our stuff ourselves. But the reality is that most actors will have their stunt doubles doing their fights for them, because it, you know, and it looks good. You know, it's not like it's not a cheat. It's not a cheat. It doesn't work like that. It's like that's how it looks impressive. You know, when you know how to film a fight scene. And in the film that I just recently did with Samuel L. Jackson, I had to be kicked over a table, and there's things I just can't do. I mean, I tried it once, and I hurt myself, so I was like,
you just gave it a go
to do it. But, so it's important that everyone plays their part when it comes to making the magic. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had experience, and it's the stuff that I love the most. You know, there's not a lot of chance to do it, because, you know, it's not like I'm an actor, you know, first and foremost. It's just so nice that you get a chance to do something that you feel like you're good at.
I was gonna say, I've been watching, like, quite recent, like within the last week, there's this YouTube channel, the Corridor. They do loads of CGI stuff, but they've got a second channel where what they do is they get stunt people on and they watch and analyze stunt scenes, and they've been doing loads of stuff from Marvel, and it's crazy to see what people do and how it all works. And they said, one of the stunt people said, it's just like dancing, you know. It's just, if you get the beats right, you can get the fight right. And it's really good. So if you guys want to see more, go check out that channel. It's pretty interesting.
Send me the link, because I'd love to have a look at it.
I will. I'll send you I'll send you the Marvel one. You know, that's the most interesting I've seen so far. So I was going to ask, how did you become an actor? What made you start? What drove you?
Well, I didn't deliberately become an actor. Both my parents are Greek. Both my parents are Greek Cypriots, and I grew up in Eastbourne. I was born in London, but I grew up in Eastbourne, and, you know, my parents had a restaurant. You know, all the time that they were here, they went back to Cyprus and retired. But they had a restaurant, and I worked there from the age of 12, you know, making coffees and that kind of thing. So I was ensconced, you know, I was embedded in the restaurant business. And, you know, my as the only son, I've got a sister, I was the one who was going to take over the business, and that was going to be my career. And if only I'd listened to my parents, I wouldn't be in this mess right now. But I wasn't very good at school. I wasn't very academic. I was a bit, you know, I didn't really feel like I fitted in. I had some problems at school, and I wasn't really very happy.
Yeah.
But the thing that connected me to school was doing school plays. So when I discovered that, it was like my way in, and it was it was just something that I immediately responded to. You know, I could do it. I felt confident. It connected me with other people, and I felt like, I know where I belong within this weird environment. It's definitely not in class, but definitely the extracurricular stuff I really responded to, and it was my saving grace when it came to school. So for me, it was just a hobby. It was always a hobby, and I loved it, and I did it out of school, and I did it when I went to sixth form. And I had no real intention of going to drama school because, you know, like my parents, they're not interested in that kind of thing. You know, they're pretty, you know, they're not at all enthused by my career, you know, and it's kind of something I really admire as well, because it kept my feet on the ground. So I couldn't ever, you know, I was never encouraged by my parents. I always had to kind of like fight against their disapproval or their concern that I was going to be doing something that was really a very bad and insecure profession, which, kids, it really is. So don't do it. But the reality is that I really loved it. And so when it came to doing like going to university, I was going to go and do something stupid like law, but there was an intervention. A friend of mine said to me, hang on a minute, don't do law because you're going to be rubbish. You're going to drop out after a year. And but do something that you actually love. So that's when I started looking at theatre courses, and I did a performing arts course in Leicester. And that's when I met some amazing people who are friends to this day. And that was really the thing that connected me with a career, because we did lots of work together. We created work together. I was really into directing when I was at college. And that was my way into actually ending up doing it as a profession.
Well, it's a cool story. I mean, nowadays you hear people like their parents are supportive. I'm pretty sure all our parents are supportive, you know. So it's good to, it's nice to hear.
Sometimes a bit of something to fight against
spurs you on.
Something that you can really push you. And something like it's
So I would say that I you know, like whenever I meet a young actor, or you know, they write to me and they say, do you have any advice, I always say to them, don't do it. Because I'm not being a bastard when I say that, but I'm trying to be honest, which is it's not something that you should take lightly, and you shouldn't do it if you think that it's because you want to become famous or work with in you know,
Samuel Jackson
or Benedict Cumberbatch or something, because this kind of stuff is so, but I do know that if you really are serious about it and you really want to do it, then you won't listen to me saying don't do it. Do you know what I mean? That you'll do it anyway. And that's the thing that you need. You need that tenacity, and you need that drive that makes you want to do it despite what people say, not because of what they say. Because it requires, especially nowadays, nowadays, it requires you to be so self-motivated.
Mm.
I don't even know if I could do it if I started now, but when I did, I was very lucky to be connected with people who really encouraged me and inspired me and kind of led me to have the experiences that I did. But I think nowadays you really, if you can write and produce and direct as well as act, then that's really the key. That's the key. It's like you've got to really be an all-rounder nowadays.
Yeah.
I've just like recently started getting into writing my own story, not stories, but obviously scripts and stuff and whatnot. That's what I don't know. That's recent. I think of an idea at like 2 a.m. You write it down. That's what you got to do. You got to write those ideas down at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And every time you get a new idea of that idea, but you just write it down. Because I remember, who was it? I can't remember. Some really famous director said he always has a notebook next to his table, next to his bed. It's because those thoughts always come 1 a.m., 2 a.m. while you're trying to sleep, because that's all you think. Your mind goes racing off.
It's true. It's true. And
also
write everything down.
Way past your bedtime.
No, that's not. If you stay up late on purpose, it's not going to work.
That's
Become sleep deprived.
Acting success. Stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning, sleep for an hour, and we're perfect. Thanks, Joe.
There we go. Perfect. I mean, pretty much do that already. Not much difference. I want to ask, who are some people that you look up to? Like, I don't know if there's any. It could be anyone. It could be Susan down the street. Who do you look up to?
She's dancing.
That's a really good question. I don't have that thing. It's not really actors who I look up to.
Yeah.
I look up to directors.
Yeah.
Like the directors who I've always really admired are usually not the ones that you'd expect, because I like people like David Cronenberg and I like people like Sidney Lumet and all these people who basically who kind of were groundbreakers at the time. And like, for example, someone like David Cronenberg, the reason why I kind of use him as an example is because whatever you think about his films, and let's be honest, his films are pretty, sometimes very difficult to watch. He is a man who has a very clear idea about what the story is he wants to tell. And invariably, his stories always kind of revolve around the same kind of obsessions, which is kind of like the decomposition of the body. And of course, as a teenager, I grew up loving horror films. So he was a real, like, I really enjoyed what he did. There's other directors like John Landis who kind of trod the line between comedy, black humor, and the kind of more surreal, horror. Kind of really original voices, people who had a very unique way of telling a story. And it wasn't really important what the story was. It was the fact that they had such a unique voice. And that is something that I really admire. And so for me, the people that I like the most when I watch their work are the ones that I get surprised by, that I don't see where they're going with their story. The same with writers as well. The same thing. I like to be surprised, and I like to be surprised when I watch things on TV. And interestingly, the people that I've always really admired the most when it comes to live performance are kind of dancers and dance companies. There's an amazing theatre company called DV8, and they have very really interesting. Yeah, and because it's not.
No, it's not
they
typical,
kind of do
is
stuff.
it?
No, it's not. But it's a real original way of using dance that
Yeah.
isn't kind of. It's not like raw ballet, and it's not contemporary. It's like a real mixture of the two, and it's kind of psychological. The stuff that they deal with is quite psychological.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff, and theatre companies like Complicité.
Yeah.
Which I find really exciting, just because they have something to say. I always think that, like, people who create art have there's so much that we make so many TV shows and movies and like I said, I love I love science fiction, I love fantasy, I love all of those kind of movies, but the stuff that really stays with me is the stuff that I find where I feel like I wasn't expecting to like it so much. You have no expectations, and you're surprised by the story you hear. So
I mean, one of my favorite movies is La La Land, and I put it off for a good 2 years because I was like, oh, it's a musical, I don't want to watch that. I watched it and I was like, I like that, and I've watched it 10 times now, just because I just really like the story, the directing, and just everything about it. I really enjoy. Damien Chazelle, he's I really enjoy him.
I mean, it's great. People have really bold ideas and who actually get their stuff done as well, because there's a lot of people trying to make their stories, and they get nowhere, and they try and try and try. So hats off to people who really managed to do it. However, he managed to make that movie.
He also
but it was
did
a huge success.
A really other fantastic movie, which is is it No, is it not Whiplash? What's it called? No, it might be Whiplash. It's about the drummer.
The drummer
with J.K. Simmons.
Whiplash. Yeah, Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash. Incredible film.
Yeah. I forgot that he made those two movies.
He made that. That's his
I love Whiplash.
First one, and then La La Land. He's released first man. I haven't seen that one yet, but that's the
first one. That's good.
Same director.
So isn't that interesting? Because both movies have a real sense of music about them. You can't imagine Whiplash being a movie without its music, without its rhythm. The rhythm is actually the narrative. And it's so interesting that I'd forgotten that he did those two movies.
Well, when I was like,
on the surface, those two movies are completely different, but they have something about them which is completely the same, which is its sense of rhythm.
He's become very quickly one of my favorite directors. He's done like 3 films that you know of, and those 3 films are just I haven't seen First Man, but Whiplash and La La Land, incredible. So quickly.
What's the third movie that he made?
First Man. It was about Neil Armstrong going to the moon. I haven't seen it, but it looks really good.
All his backstory and build up towards it.
Ryan Gosling's back in his film. Yeah. It's weird.
Thing about Whiplash,
I want to see that.
Yeah, the thing about Whiplash, which I absolutely love, is the fact it's not driven by love. There's a little love story in it, but it's not driven by love, which is perfect. And it's actually driven by music for once instead of the love story. And I just made me so happy. That one scene in the restaurant, it just made me very, very happy.
To be fair, that film, it was weird, but it makes you understand because in college, we had a teacher who he would say, "Oh, that performance, that was shit. That was absolutely shit. That was shit." And people, they got offended. They couldn't take it. But I'm not even lying, because I've watched this film and I watched J.K. Simmons' character and his story arc and the meaning behind what he does. I was like, this is meant to help us. This is what will make us actors, And he said, and he did later on in the year. He said himself, he's like, I say it for a reason. It was just because in dramas.
That was our best teacher.
Yeah, he told us.
He was really. Harry, you can't speak though. You were side on the opposite. You were on the opposite side.
No,
Yeah. You were like, nah, he's too much. It's too much. You can't handle it.
At the time, yeah.
But the reality is that J.K. Simmons' character is too much. He is. Yeah. You're not supposed to think, oh, he had a point. You're supposed to understand that his obsession and his brutality, there was a reason for it, but it was more to do with him than it was to do with that young kid. And so that was what was so interesting about the movie, is that it is a real psychological study of two people and how they negotiate each other and how you deal with that kind of level of, I mean, it's hard to watch, actually. It's a really intense movie, but it's you know, and so it's right that you should kind of like sometimes think, oh, because I when I was watching the movie, I was like, yeah, JK's right in this instance, and other times I was like, no, this is too much.
You can't be doing that.
I mean, imagine if you were in this day and age, if you were a director like that, you'd be sacked.
Yeah, you'd be gone in a
minute.
Yeah, but what's I going to say? What I noticed about Chazelle's film is that he brings his actors from other films in back again. Like only like one, because J.K. Simmons, he was the main antagonist, I would say, in Whiplash, and then he pops up in La La Land for a brief scene, and then Ryan Gosling from La La Land popped up again in First Man. I love seeing those.
But directors do that a lot because they like that you know, because the relationship they have with their actors is really important, because they trust them, because they know they can do what they ask them to do. Because a lot of the time when it comes to doing these projects, you want people that are on board and understand your vision. And theatre directors do this as well as film directors, and you need people that understand the story you want to tell, because amazingly, and you probably wouldn't know this just from starting point, but most actors are so versatile that they will go wherever you want them to go. So you want them to be kind of wild and crazy and bigger, larger than life, they can do that. And if you want them to be completely minimal and reserved and small, they can also do that. And it really makes a difference to how that story comes across. And so directors who really trust their actors will use them again and again, because they won't need to explain to them what they want. They'll just know. And that saves so much time when it comes to filming, because most of the time you don't get to rehearse. So one thing you have to remember is that when you do film and TV, you never rehearse.
No.
Only in theatre. You don't really get a chance to rehearse.
Yeah, it's all fast paced in film and stuff. There's so much to do for a TV show and film that, you know.
Yeah, they've got to do all the setups, and everything else is more important. They do a bit of rehearsal, especially if it's a really, you know, difficult scene to film. But invariably, it's not about rehearsing. You'll just come knowing what you're going to do, and then you just do it in front of the camera, and then just try and capture it.
Yeah, I was so I asked everyone here to write down what they think your answer would be to this question, and the question is, who would be if you could play one protagonist in a film that you've seen or something, who would that be? So we've all taken a guess.
So we're talking about a film that exists.
It doesn't have to exist, but I hope it does.
Fucking anywhere.
Just an ice cream man ninja, you know. There you
go. So I'll give you two answers, right? You know, there's rumors that they're going to remake The Princess Bride.
No way! Come on!
It's a terrible idea, and I hope it never happens.
Yeah.
But I would quite like to play. I'd love to play the Inigo Montoya, but I'm too old to play him now.
Yeah.
So I'd
Put
have
him
to
down.
play
I put him down. I put him down. I put him down. I did.
Same.
No, you are.
But I'm too old to play him now.
no.
I play the Peter Falk character, the granddad who sits by the bed and reads a story. That's what I would like to play. Or else I'd like to be in like if they did Alien again.
Oh yes, that would be amazing.
Are you playing?
And
Are
I'd like
you
to
playing
play
Ripley?
like
Who would you be? Would you be the guy who's like, it's game over?
I'd be like Ellen Ripley. No, unfortunately, I'd be someone like Kane, who's chasing the cat and then just gets killed in the first scene.
But to be honest, that's cool.
I would love to play a little engineer, a little hairy engineer on the Nostromo. That's what I'd like to do because I love that movie. It's one of my favourite movies.
Tim, what did you put down?
I put Dennis the Menace.
What?
Dennis, I've played Dennis the Menace on stage. I did the musical, and I had to ventriloquize the fucking dog. I've got to find you a photo and send it to you. Yeah, I was Nasher as well. Yeah, he's falling over. It's true. It's absolutely true. About 6 years ago.
Don't believe it.
The South Bank at the South Bank Centre.
No
way. Actually,
no way.
It was called The Trial of Dennis the Menace.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
This is the best thing that's ever happened.
So me, Joey, and Tim have kind of got the answer.
Oh, that's so funny.
Barlow, let's see. Can we get a full house?
Absolutely not, no. I was going to say someone like, because you've done like Shakespeare shorts or whatever it was. So I was going to say you would play someone like Macbeth or Banquo, depending who you think the protagonist is.
This way says, I've been Macbeth.
Yes.
I thought you might
like to play Iago. I'd like to play Iago. That's one of my favourite. That's what I'd love to play one day.
Right, nice. So we're not far off. All our answers were.
I think me and Joey both
not bad
based our answers off Stereo Pharrell.
Maybe just a bit. Maybe I just
a little bit.
All right, Indigo.
We're same mindset.
As if.
But when he started saying Princess Bride, I got too excited then.
Yeah.
When you get something right,
because when we dressed him up, when we dressed Ciro Farrell up, I remember the designer saying, "Oh, we're going to go with the greens because it's like a little bit like Inigo Montoya," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" So they had it in their head when they were doing it. So.
Can we get you to say the Inigo Montoya line for us, just quickly?
Do you know?
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
What if they do? They don't have to do a remake. They can do a reboot instead. So it's like 50,
that'd be cool.
Or I don't know how many years on, but something years on where you are Inigo Montoya training someone else.
Or he gets his own
just like
storyline.
Just like Zorro when he becomes the master, like training.
There we go. It makes sense. Then they have to ruin
play Zorro.
Joey, write that down in your book. Joey, write that down in your book.
My book is my phone. So anyone wants to hire me as a scriptwriter for that, go on. My idea. Copyright.
I've got a film we could do. We could do him versus Zorro. That'd be such a good film.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Like Rocky IV,
see that.
Swords.
You know the guy with the black mask in that film? I can't remember his name, but I always actually thought he was Zorro. Because he does look a bit like him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
Cary Elwes.
Yeah, I don't know. I always looked at.
I know who Zorro is. I know who Inigo Montoya is. I've actually never seen the films.
What?
Neither.
Really?
Oh.
They're actually quite good.
It's on Netflix. It's on my list to watch. The Princess Bride.
It's always on film 4. If you ever want to watch it, it's always on film 4.
There we go. Film 4.
As you wish.
I'll definitely give it what I need to. I feel dirty, not.
Especially after now. After this.
I want to ask, what is your hardest scene you've done? I want a film scene. Let's see, or maybe if there's an over the top stage scene that you've done. But what is the hardest thing you've done? Is it the getting lobbed over a table?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. I think really the hardest stuff I've done has been on stage because the some of the I did Twelfth Night at the Royal Shakespeare Company, and it was with Richard Wilson, you know, the guy who played I Don't Believe It. He played Malvolio, and it was a great production. It was a great cast, and I played Feste. And the hardest thing that I had to do in that was sing beautifully, like an angel.
Oh, no.
And I can do many things, but I do not sing like a beautiful angel. But I really tried my best, and I worked my butt off for it. And there was a lot of great things in that production, and a lot of great things that I felt like I did. But it was a real challenge. It was a real challenge.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I really only choose stuff to do that is a challenge, and I'm kind of perverse in that respect because I get really stressed out. I don't find acting very easy. I get very anxious and worried about everything I do. But I always prefer it when I get something that was going to push the envelope and really challenge me, because the sense of satisfaction when the job's over, not during it, because during it it's like just a world of pain, but afterwards it's a really, I don't even know how to explain it, but it really is one of those strange things that I kind of almost like need it to challenge myself and feel like I have something to work at. If I get to do something that's too easy, I get bored.
Yeah.
And when I get bored, I get lazy.
Yeah.
So having something that really challenges me is something that I always try my best to try and get, even though I hate it at the time. It's it's just such a stupid thing to say, but it is really the way my brain works.
The things you work harder for, you know, the rewards are much better than, you know, if you just mosey about through the thing. So Tim, do you think you're ready for game time? Because this week Tim will be hosting game time, everybody. So Tim, hit us with.
Right. So today's game is: can you name characters that have a sword as their main weapon?
Oh.
Okay.
Is it like an elimination game? So if you can't think of it,
like anything.
And.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go! Our appearance.
As soon as he was on the spot as well.
Oh, that's annoying. That's
very good
now.
This is another
special guest as well. So the main rules this: you can only do people from TV shows and movies, so no cartoons.
Oh, no,
no. Oh, what?
I'm making this hard.
Just
so
filmed in TV shows. It's already hard.
It is hard. I can't think of anyone.
Well.
Yes, you can. We've just spoken about a few of them already.
Yeah, I was thinking him, but I didn't want to.
So let's kick off with Inigo Montoya.
Right.
Harry, you go next.
Let's go with Sif from Thor.
Who?
Sif.
Oh wow,
Lady
that's an
Sif.
interesting one.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good.
I'm actually screwed.
Well, mine's a sword, but Luke Skywalker. It's a laser sword.
Very good. Very good.
But can we just say that's all the Star Wars characters covered?
Oh my god, that's gonna be. Oh.
Just because you can't just go listen.
You can have.
Well, you can just
right.
You can go on forever now.
That's true. It's true. It's a good. It's a good
Star Wars
rule.
characters, so it's fair. So you can have one.
4 Star. Okay, I've had
one each.
Just because it's so easy.
One each. One each of 4.
Qui-Gon.
Right.
So go on then.
I said Qui-Gon Jinn.
Very good.
Right.
I feel like you're cheating. You really should step outside the genre.
Yeah.
I'm
I need
trying
to
to
think
think.
of another one now. Oh, yes. Easy.
Whose turn is it?
Tim.
Oh,
no,
Tim,
I don't
it's
know.
your,
I don't go on the host.
Miltos.
It's your go.
Me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say Conan the Barbarian.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
That's a good one.
Harry?
I think I'm gonna have to go for Sirio Pharrell.
Very nice, very nice.
Shit, hold on.
Very good. The
Now,
fire alarm has gone.
now there's a fire. Now there's a fire. What is going on with this podcast? What is happening? We will be back after this short
Intermission.
After we get rid of the fire.
intermission.
Hang in there, baby.
This is the craziest one we've had so far.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to pause. Oh, he's back.
I'm
We'll
back.
just pause. All right.
Wait, what? Oh, right. That was
We're
it.
back, we're back.
Take two.
Okay. So my answer is The Bride from Kill Bill.
Do you have to have character
Very
name?
good. Excellent. Excellent.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Oh, yes.
No, you were first to be out.
Dun dun.
I feel like Alex, have you given us one?
Yeah, I said Captain Jack Sparrow.
Very good. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who goes it now?
Yours.
Yours.
You're after
Okay.
Barbara. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get some light on.
Like, struggling.
Nice
Argon.
one, Harry.
You're welcome.
Oh, Zorro. We've said
Oh,
Zorro. Zorro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with Jamie Lannister.
I'm going to go with Frodo Baggins.
Oh,
very
no,
nice.
no. I can't have that.
What's
Because
your...
that's not his main weapon. He just has a sword, though.
Then Bilbo Baggins.
Oh, Bilbo. I thought you said Frodo. All right, I'll give you that.
No, I
yeah.
said
I thought you
both.
said Frodo.
You can have one of the
fine.
Bagginses then. What?
Well, no, because it's Bilbo's weapon, not Frodo. All right, I'll give you that. It's fine. It's fine.
You hurt my brain.
Blade from Blade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
That is such a good. Oh, that is so good.
That
Good
is
film.
Very good.
Oh, Miltos, it's you now.
I might have to do a countdown.
Yeah, everyone's doing quite well at this.
I'm screwed now, I think.
Here's your Star Wars life.
Everyone's got a Star
Red
Wars.
Sonja.
Oh.
Yeah. That is good. Right, Harry.
He's
Can I go with,
going to name
Arya?
Game of Thrones. He's going to name Game. Yeah, he's using Game of Thrones.
You can't.
He's using Game of Thrones again.
Right. No more Game of Thrones. No more
No.
Star Wars now. You've done with that
Oh,
franchise.
I've still got
Move
my
on.
Star Wars lifeline. I've still got my
Right,
Star Wars lifeline.
Use that then.
Darth Maul. Darth Maul.
Right. God damn it. Joey,
Um,
the countdown will start. Not now, after. When it's your go, Barlow.
These few
Start the
messages.
countdown.
all right.
Checking your Google.
No, I'm not. I don't. My hands are here. I can look at my pop selection, can't I?
No, you can't turn
Have a
around.
look.
Cheating.
Heimdall.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll give you that. Look at you. Just looking at.
I think I'm done. I think I've.
You don't.
He's
Uh-huh.
I think I might be. I'm allowed to use another Pirates of the Caribbean one.
Yeah. That's
Will
fine.
Turner.
Yeah. I should.
We should
right,
just say like one per franchise.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so
All right.
answer again.
I've got to go now. I've got to go. This
Oh.
is my last answer.
All
I
right.
have to because I've got dinner to serve
That's
up.
all right.
Yeah. That's
So
fine.
this is
No problem.
this is what I'm going to leave you with. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Conor McLeod, Highlander.
Yeah. Hey guys, Joey from the future here. Before we end off this video, if you want to go check out Miltos's CAMEO account, it'll be linked down below. That is a website where you can pay for appearances, personal messages from Miltos himself. He's also appearing in the sequel to Hitman's Bodyguard releasing next year if you want to go check that out when it releases. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We want to hit 100 subscribers before the end of the year. And leave a like, share it around, comment maybe guests you'd like in the future, or elimination games, or maybe just general video ideas. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We're back after our 2 weeks off. And I'll see you next time.